Courageously Verse podcast. Today's guest is Monique, and today we are going to speak about her past trauma and now how she's a coach. Hi, Monique.
Hi, Brooke. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you so much for being a guest today.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Thank you so much for having me.
So, to start out, I want you to share with my listeners your story.
Yeah. How far do you want me to go back?
As far back as trauma started.
Yeah. Um, I mean, trauma for most of us and me as well started at a very young age, even in utero, sometimes we feel the emotions from our parents. And those sensations or imprints for is what we call it, an imprint, are put into our little bodies, right? So the first things that I remember trauma wise are, just being told to not cry in front of everybody in the house, kind of go to my room. Um, I have a big voice and a big presence. And as a child, I was a dancer. I was on stage. So I was always performing and wanting to dance. And, um, my parents didn't know any better. So they did what they thought was correct, which was hush me up, sit me down, make me be pretty and quiet, be a good girl. But there was all of this stuff inside that was just being pushed back into my little body, right? Um, so around, I don't know, probably 15 or 16 years old. Um, well, let's go back a little bit further. I remember being like 13, 12, 13, and wanting to talk about things, but not really knowing how to talk to my parents because we didn't have a lot of talking in our house. It was or talking rather, not so much communication, I guess. No solutions were ever found. So um I had a brother that was a drug addict, so there was a lot of crazy things going on in our home at a very young age. He was in and out of jail and just trouble, and so a lot of attention went to him. And I, wanted to connect with people. Humans are tribal. We want a group. We want to feel safe. And um, I started hanging out with friends, and like most kids in high school, kind of just disassociated from my parents, right? And started really looking for connection in ways that were the only ways I knew how. So wherever I can get the attention, wherever I can get the connection, wherever I can feel safe, um, I'm just gonna jump in, right? And I met my first husband when I was probably 15 years old when we met, and we started dating when I was 16. He was a few years older. He had already graduated high school by the time we started dating, and had his own place. And so I just hung out there as much as I could. My parents at this time were going through a divorce, or my second set of parents, I should say. My stepmom and dad were going through a divorce. And there wasn't a whole lot of security at home. We had electricity, like there was food in the fridge, yeah, but there was no one present. My mom was going through her own trauma with her divorce. It was pretty rough on her. And as an adult now, I understand that. But as a child or a teenager, like I didn't really get it. Um, so I went out and I just did whatever with whoever to have connection, to have safety, and ended up in some situations that, could have been a lot worse than what they were, but um, very, very memorable high school years, to say the least. Um,
um,
as a senior in high school, I ended up getting pregnant for my
oh,
for my first husband. Um, I graduated. I was probably four months pregnant, something like that, when I graduated. A lot of people don't even remember or know, but I knew. Um, and we got married when I was 18. Had a second child the day before I turned 20, and asked to have my tubes tied before I left the hospital.
oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow. You can untie them though, right? Like they can be untied.
Oh, not what
Oh,
I did. No, no, no. I said I do not want to physically carry any more children in this
oh,
relationship.
Oh wow. Man, I don't blame you. What happened in the relationship, if you don't mind me asking?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So we were young and we had fun and we would, just party and all these things. But I had a daughter really young. I was 17 when I had my daughter. So those high school years or right after high school where you should really be just like experiencing life, I was actually a mom. So I wasn't partying anymore. I was waking up, taking my daughter to daycare, going to my job, taking care of my life, and there was partying going on in my house, but I wasn't a part of it, right? So I'm kind of caring for the children, or my daughter at that time only had one, and things just kind of started getting worse and worse. Um, a wall would get hit, or a picture would get broken, or things like that. Never me, so I was always okay with it.
Mhm,
Um, but then it got worse and worse and worse over time. It kind of progressed. So there was a lot of drinking,
mhm,
some drugs being involved at this point, and you know, I'm young, like I'm naive. I think this is normal. I think we'll figure this out. We'll go to counseling. We'll like do something and we'll change.
mhm,
But it wasn't changing, and so things just kept evolving. And I was starting to wonder, by the time I got pregnant with my second child, like I really don't want to have any more children.
yeah.
And I remember telling the doctor, I have two hands and I have two children. And if I have to go, I don't have a hand for a third child. And he said, "Okay,
Mhm,
so you want to tie your tubes?" And I said, "Yes." And I was 19 when I had this discussion with him.
yeah.
And he understood me and he agreed to it. Um, and so I had a tubal at 20 years old, which is unheard of. A lot of people will say their doctors won't do that, and maybe they won't, but
Mhm,
mine did.
mhm, yeah. I mean, it was your decision, your choice. You wanted to do it because that's what you wanted to do. So
Yeah.
I don't
I
blame you at all.
yeah, I think there was a part of me that really knew that
Mhm,
if I had more children, this could be a bad situation,
yeah.
or be worse than what it was. Um, and at this point in time, my children, my daughter, my oldest especially, she has a lot of memories of like yelling and fighting and things getting broken. And so for me, that it's a big wake up call. I didn't think that when they were that young they understood or they would
Mhm,
remember. I thought they were really safe
right.
in their bedrooms, but
Mhm,
they felt things. They knew stuff was going on, right? And
yeah.
so um, I'm glad I left when I left. I'm glad that I was able to get them out safely and stay with family for a while. And I woke up and I went to the hospital
Mhm,
and I called the law,
mhm.
to make an arrest.
Okay.
And a few weeks later, we had a restraining order. Everything was put into place, and it wasn't being honored.
Oh wow.
And
You just
so,
didn't care.
no. So I sold I had a hair salon at the time, had a
Mhm,
little hair salon in the local town I lived in, sold it, and packed up, took a few $1,000s that I had from selling all that stuff. It wasn't much, but it was equipment and things like that, and packed up my kids and moved to Austin, Texas from Louisiana
nice.
and started over there. Um, and it was hard because rent was 3 times as expensive. The cost of living was much more. I had 2 kids alone in a town where I didn't know anybody. I would have friends come spend a little time with me every once in a while, like a month or a couple weeks or things like that. And um, I did have a friend there that I used to work with at a hair salon, that I bought the salon from her when I was very young. So I had a friend there. So I did have a little support, but not like what you have at home, you know.
Yeah.
And eventually, he went. he moved back to his home area, which was in another state, and I went back home. I couldn't do it on my own. It was really a struggle. I didn't really know what else to do. So I kind of tucked my tail and went back to mama's again, which was really hard because I moved out of my mom's when I was 16 years old, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
and had my own apartment before I graduated high school. So um, it was an experience to go back home, you know, and that's when I realized how much trauma I had endured when I went
Yeah.
back home. Before that I was just running. I was in survival. I didn't really know, I was running on fumes and just making ends meet and surviving. And I started to realize how messed up things had truly been, and started having some issues with mental health, emotional health, chronic pain. Um, so pretty eye-opening experience at that point. And I think I was about 24 when I went home, something like that.
Oh, wow. How's your relationship now with like your parents?
Both my parents are passed. They've
Uh,
passed recently, but really good. We had a great relationship. Um, After all of this kind of settled, and I met my husband that I'm with now. We've been together for almost 20 years, and
oh, nice.
I had a big evolution when I met him, big change in things. But I didn't realize how much past relationship trauma would affect your current relationship.
Oh, yeah.
That was
Yeah.
a big struggle on my part, trying
Mhm.
to separate things like sounds, noises, smells, things that would trigger
Mhm.
my nervous system, that my brain was trying to make sense of. Um, if his tone changed, all of a sudden I got really neat. I kind of pulled back, or I was ready to like box him, one or the other. So, triggers were really real for me, and just really trying to understand and separate, like, this isn't the same thing. Get really present and look at, I'm actually really safe in my home. I'm really safe in this relationship. But trusting was really hard for a long time, So it took me a while. Took me a while to really trust him, and no fault of his own, because he's an excellent person, like,
Mhm.
mind blowing.
Yeah,
Um,
it's a blessing.
yeah,
It's
it's such a gift, and
it
to
is
be able
like
to.
when you go through all your trauma and then you go through that past relationship of a person that treats you so bad and then you find someone that's so perfect for you, you're like, yeah, I'm happy.
Yeah. Well, and, I mean, I went into the relationship young, and I mean, I'm not going to say it was all one or the other of us. We both had our faults. We both contributed to the fall of the relationship. I definitely take responsibility for that, my part in things as well. But I kept thinking something would change, something would shift, like we would figure this out. And um, I realize now that I went into something not really understanding what love was, not really understanding what life was about. You know, it was my first like serious relationship, and I just dove headfirst because all I wanted was someone like to care about me,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
it just wasn't right, But I say all the time, I'm pretty sure the reason I ended up in this relationship was to have these two children, because, you know, they're now in their 20s, and doing great. They have their own lives now. Um, but they were such a lesson for me throughout life, with stopping generational trauma and changing generational pain. And um, my whole family of females ended up in abusive relationships somewhere.
Oh, wow.
My grandmother, my mother, my daughter, like everybody has. So this kind of stuff affects entire generations, and it affects entire family lines. And I'm so grateful that we have a different outlook on things now, but it's it's really fascinating to look at in a lineage standpoint.
Mm, that's true. I wanted to talk to you a little bit about your website. I wanted to go through it. I can bring it up on screen so we can talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's your website? I'll bring it up while we're here.
Well, it's my name,
Oh,
Monique, but it's Monique Arno Derwin. So Monique,
oh, got it.
ARNA. Okay.
Yeah, it came right up.
Oh, good
Like
deal.
I
Yeah.
forgot that I went through your website.
Oh, good deal. Yeah. If you usually put Monique, the mind body coach, some of my stuff will pop up and you can follow the links.
Okay, here it is.
Yeah.
So I wanted to go through your entire website and show my listeners how they can get on there and how they can navigate it and stuff and what's on there. So, what is your Unlocked Wellness? What is
Yeah. So this is a course that I am starting actually next week. Um,
oh,
it
okay.
is about transforming trauma.
Mhm,
It's a 6-week course. And I am going to share some of the most valuable information that I've learned over my 25 years of training and certification. Um, this information has taken me years and years and years to compile and put together. And I am giving it to people in very bite sized, digestible ways that they can take this and actually help their life now. So, if you've suffered with chronic pain, if you've suffered with trauma, what I do is mind body connection, mind body healing, which means I teach you how to heal your own body by aligning your thoughts and your feelings, your brain and your heart, your mind and your body. Because these two things usually exist separately in most of us. We're very heady, we're very, hot headed mind thinkers. We need to solve problems. But the soma, the physical body, remembers so much that the brain does not. And so we want to create a cohesive language between the two so they can communicate clearly, so that your body stays in the natural rhythm that it is designed to be in, because your body has a natural pharmacy and it knows exactly what to do. We don't need anything outside of ourselves to heal ourselves. That's the reality of it. Your body is brilliant. It's got an innate ability to heal itself, but most of us come from trauma and from mind, and we're not going to get that aligned space. So this course is 6 weeks. I'm breaking down some really awesome techniques, tips. You'll be with me live the entire time, so you can ask me questions about my experience, um, as well as get live coaching with me. And so I have a few spots left for that on this round. If anybody's interested, shoot me a message, get me a DM real quick, and let's just see if it's a good fit for you.
okay. Okay, try this. So, and you said it starts next week.
It
And
does.
is it like a group setting, like we'll be there with everybody else, or is it just you one on one?
It is a group setting, and we will basically break down, triggers and trauma. We're going to talk about what to do with them and then how to embody and integrate it. So it will be a short course, but you will still have access to me, which is a big deal. So you're going to be able to ask me questions. It's a group setting. I also do private work if that's more your jam or you need that, or maybe you need this with one breakthrough session, right? So
Mhm,
this is all I do. I just do this work. I just help people self heal. So if this doesn't feel like a good fit,
mhm.
contact me. We'll find something that is. But this is a great little program. So anybody that's interested in mind body connection, somatic healing, or trauma therapy, um, it's a great course to get into and to start to unlock that information in your body.
Okay. Okay. I might connect with you.
Okay.
So it's only you said 6 weeks.
Yep. And it's a small group. It's not a huge group. It's not 30 people. It's like 4 to 6 people. It's going to be very intimate with me.
Okay. And I want to talk about your services that you provide for your clients. Can you go a little bit through that as well?
Absolutely. So again, I have a basic consultation. This is anywhere from 20 to 30 minutes. When you click on consultation, it's going to send you to something called a symptom tracker. That symptom tracker you're going to fill out, and it's a bunch of questions. So it tells me where you are in your physical body, your health, your
Hmm.
experience, and then I can kind of plug in what the best option for you would be. But we're going to
Okay.
have a call. We're going to discuss things privately. It's just me and you on the call, completely confidential. And so, really, just helping you navigate what that next step is for yourself. It might just be an evaluation, it might be a three-part thing, or it might be some intensive work. Just really, so the consultation is there, those are free. And if you've ever considered, getting help, or you've tried all these things and it's not worked, I
Hmm.
highly recommend and invite you to just connect with me, because I remember being there. I also have a membership. There's a membership we have. It's all online. We have weekly group calls, multiple calls a week, usually, depending on what we have going on in the community. We have a Facebook group where you can get coaching anytime. You can ask questions, you can get support, you can get feedback. And there's multiple coaches in there that run this group with me. They're all trained in the same approach I am, and they specialize in different things. So finances, relationships, physical health, and I do more of that mind, body, and emotional health. That is the membership. And also, there is an online portal. So you can go on 24 hours a day, watch videos, watch the replays. Really educational and informative for those people that need that client portal style life, and the community. It's great. And then I have nervous system regulation. So this is a package ideally that I sell. So if you are local, you can get on my table. I am a somatic trauma specialist with the physical body, as well as a craniosacral therapist. So I can move your physical tissue while we work on the body. I also do this online. So this is part of my private coaching as well, doing somatic work as well as nervous system regulation. So I have clients in Korea and Ireland and Puerto Vallarta and um, Norway, like all over the world. We find time, we make it work. And then I have clients here in person as well, and locals that we all use the computer and Zoom. So, multiple ways to work with me right now and connect, really just depending on where you are. But start with that consultation and just let's connect, get together, and see what that next step would be for you.
Uh, Sorry about that. My camera disconnected.
That's okay. We're
I
here.
don't know why my camera it's like really high now. I don't know what happened. The screen just my dog ran over the camera. Stop it. Oh my god. My bad. I'm so sorry.
No, no, all good, all good.
Okay.
So yeah, just do the consultation, connect with me, and I can plug you into resources or services, really depending on what you need the most.
Oh, okay. Okay. I like that. Okay. And then there's just pictures. Okay. That's
Mhm.
nice. It's really nice. So the best way to contact you is through email or through your website.
Yeah, absolutely. Or on social media, like if you're on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, just look Monique the Mind Body Coach up and just send me a DM. I see them pretty quickly and respond to them, and so you can contact me through the website or one of those social media platforms.
Okay, amazing. I want to thank you so much for being a guest on my podcast. Do you have any last words for my listeners before I let you go?
You know, um, Trauma's a part of life. We all experience it. You're not alone. Get support somewhere, because you're going to react and feel from those pain points. They're going to show up in your life over and over and over again. And we don't have to go back into the trauma. We don't have to go do any deep, regression work or anything like that. But we do want to work on changing the way that your brain perceives things so that you live a life that you want to live. Because I did not know I could have this much joy and fun, even from a little kid, like I didn't know that I could create the life that I wanted, that I could heal these wounds, that I could have healthy relationships, that I could enjoy, intimacy and conversation and connection in the way that I'm able to do. I didn't know that was possible, because these old wounds were very real. And so I just invite you to connect, communicate with me. Um, and let's just see if we can guide you in the right direction, whatever that looks like for you.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Monique, for being a guest today. I hope you have a great day.
Thanks, Brooke.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hey, everyone. Thank you all so much for listening to my interview with Monique. As she said, you can go on her website and connect with her, or you can go on social media and connect with her and follow and subscribe. Sorry for the computer mishap. My dog ran past my camera, so I hope you all didn't see anything. But anyway, if you would like to be a guest on She Blurs podcast, feel free to reach out to me as well, and we can see what we can do. Thank you all. See you next time. Bye.